Just check the sound and other things also. Okay, so very good afternoon, everybody. Today we have assembled for this workshop for academic writing. In our department, we keep on doing various workshops for academic writing, and repeatedly that is required also. For your answer writing also, we keep on doing workshops 4 times in all the 4 semesters. And yet it is required. Refinedness in writing, improving the writing skills is always necessary. And whatever amount of time, energy we give for academic writing, it is still less. And there are still lots of opportunities and chances for the improvement of our writing skills. So we have to keep on doing that time and again and again, even though it seems sometimes repetition of several things, yet it is necessary. That repetition is necessary. It is like sharpening the axe. When this Kathwara, the one who goes to cut the trees, they take axe with them. And when they become much smarter, much expert in cutting the trees, what they have to necessarily do is to sharpen their axe. If they don't sharpen their axe, then whatever expertise they have, still they will not be able to cut the trees as effectively as some new person coming with a sharpened axe. So always some skills are to be honed again and again, repeatedly. Academic writing is similar kind of thing, that whatever way it happens, we have to sharpen the things again and again also. We do remember another example that for like 20 years now, we are in the profession, more than 20 years. For almost 20 years, we are being a part of elections also. Several elections, state level, national level, corporation level, Jilla Panchayat, Sarpanch. At so many times we have been a part of that. And yet every time the training is necessary. The same training about how to use electronic voting machine, how the forms are to be filled, which you are doing for 20 years. There is no change in that as such. And yet why it is necessary? Because even a slight mistake in that will lead to a re-election in that area. A small mistake by a person, even if it is experience of 20, 25 years, if the person is not going for a training or not taking the training seriously, then it is bound to make some mistake. And that mistake will lead to re-election in that area, and lakhs of rupees will be spent. So the same way here, when we look at the academics, writing is necessarily, repeatedly, even if we get dull, we think it is a dull process, or we get bored to that, it is necessary, it is required. It always helps somewhere in giving some advancement to whatever way we are writing also. So in that line, we keep on working and keep on giving several ideas about what you are doing and how things can be improved also. Though we know that everybody is not taking everything very seriously also. Many of the people would say that, well, even if it keeps on happening on repeated occasions, still the improvement doesn't come also, because many of those things are not very seriously taken into consideration or not put into practice, because everything is required to be put into practice. If you put into practice, then only the changes might come. So at the end of the workshop, many things remains with the students themselves. They have to now what ideas they get, what they work on that, how they work on that. That is very, very important. Now, if they don't work, then whatever hard work we keep on doing, it is zero. It doesn't materialize into a better outcome also. So today also, we will ask you to ask yourself several questions, and then we have to see that how you can improve on whatever you have done. Let me share the screen. Okay, so we call it advanced research writing because lots of other academic writing you have done. We had a weekly meeting also for your research writing. That also was a part of this workshop kind of a thing, that what you bring, and the other teachers, Prakruti Madam and Megha Madam, they were guiding you, telling you what you have done, or at least like they were doing this hand-holding, that you have to do some work by the end of the week, which is very necessary. because we have to work in a time-bound manner. It is a master's dissertation. It has to be submitted within 3 months of the time. In the 4th semester, before your exam, it should be ready. Though it is a process similar to PhD thesis, but you don't have a liberty of the time which PhD scholars have. PhD scholars have 3 years minimum, but they can have another 3 years. So it is 6 years, double the other time they can get, and then they may also apply for some extension, and under some rules, they may get some extension also. But for you, it will be a wastage of year. If you take an extra liberty, then it is a wastage of year. So we have to do lots of hand-holding. Every week we have to meet and we have to see that what work is done. Sometimes many of you might not like it that you are forced to do. You have lots of other problems. Some might be having some illness, some family issues, but we have to do. We have to force people so that we reach to some level also. And today we are here with one draft of dissertation, which is ready now. All chapters we have written and kept it ready, bibliography. So almost one draft is ready. So now we have to do refinedness of that. We have to do refinement. You have to do crafting of the thing also. That now how this draft can be much better now. What kind of embellishment we need to do that if there are something lacking, it can be covered up. As if like we have to now tighten the screws now. If somewhere the screws are still loose, each and every chapter gets much better by giving some touches or something. That is how we call it crafting. Now the first draft of the dissertation, which is already ready with you also. But before we go into that, we want to see several other things also. Like during our research methodology presentations, there were very interesting questions, and I told that we will talk about some of the questions which should be like you should be aware about those answers and how those things are put into practice also. One thing also will be about UGC guidelines, that what are the UGC guidelines and what does it say in an official document for PhD thesis and dissertation writing for promotion of academic integrity and prevention of plagiarism. So we do not have any guideline for the use of AI, but we will try to use the other guidelines used by journals, Elsevier journal, and what they follow as the usage of AI. And when you all are using AI a lot, you also have to be very careful in how you are using those things also, that it is not included as a part of plagiarism. Should not be considered. That you have to be careful also. So first, several questions that were raised by you. If we club down those questions, some of these questions were this one, like how we look at AI and plagiarism. Can AI itself be accused of plagiarism, or it is just a tool only? So it is a tool only. It doesn't have a human agency. So who is penalized if something goes wrong with AI tool? It is the one who is using it. It is the one who is using it. And remember, tool, like you can't blame the company if something goes wrong, but the one who is using that should be blamed for that. So as a scholar, you are the user. You can't say that this is a mistake of this tool, so I should be pardoned. It cannot be like that. It is something like if there is an accident by a car, you do not go and catch car company makers. You catch the driver. If somebody is killed by some gun, you do not tell that who is the maker of gun. You say who is the user of gun. People are always punished in that way, that who are the user of gun, who are driving car and who are killing people. It is never in a way that the tool should be penalized, because tool do not have a human agency. It is who you are using. You are asking something, and whatever response you got, even if not only in the research, even in a social political sphere, if you get some awkward answer, and if you say that it is this tool who has given, but the people will say, but you asked something, so it has given you that answer. So you are the one who are the driver. You are the one who has the gun in your hand. So if something goes wrong, the user becomes responsible for that also. Another one was about accidental or unintentional plagiarism. That what is the difference? There is again very interesting documents made by journal editors, journals for writers. They are making this, and they give a very clear-cut guidelines also. So we can say that this is normally assessed by a human agency is required there to work. Machine cannot take such kind of decision whether this is intentional or accidental. But human being, like if your dissertation comes, we are here to look into it that this is accidental or this is deliberate. And lot many things plays a vital role. The context plays the vital role. Student history also plays a vital role. Now in 2 years, we know what you can write, what you cannot write. What is your level of thinking? That is your history that we are aware about. Now we have listened to your presentations carefully, and we have all the recording also. So what is your level? That we are well aware. And if we say anything that this is the level, we have evidence also, because we can watch the videos again, which are available on our YouTube channel also. So that history plays a significant role. That telling that this way this decisions are taken. You might not have any evidence that whether it is intentional or that, and we can't never go into the mind of the people. We can't take this lie detecting tests and other thing to tell people whether he is a liar or not. But what helps us in this history of the student, extent of the copied material also, how many things, how many pages, how many things, which ideas are copied, how you have worked on that, that will play a significant role. And you should be aware about it. In case you have done any of this kind of thing and you think that, no, let me forget it, let me become Gajani and let me forget that, no, I have not done anything wrong. I don't know that this material was available somewhere on the website. Let me become Shahamrukh. But no, you can't do that. So you have to be careful. In case anything is done, then you try to improve that part of your writing also. The other things were the stress and plagiarism and other thing. Time management is there. This time you got ample amount of time. Instead of first week of April, the exam is now on 23rd of April. So you got a good bonus time. So now you don't have any stress. Now you are completely relaxed. And you can't say that I'm not able to give quality work because I was not having enough time. Now that excuse you cannot give. You have enough time to work, and things can be of a better quality also. Okay, fine. This was the first. Then AI in academia and research can be used for improving writing skills. Over-reliance can weaken independent research. Summaries and how you work, how you engage yourself with AI tool. All these questions were also raised in the presentations by many of you there. Yes, it is helping, and most of you are using also language improvement, even though we are the English graduates and postgraduates. Still, English is not our first language. So people do require the use of that. Now, that doesn't mean we should not work on our English language. We should obviously work on our English language. We have to improve the English language. The writing things, academic writing should be improved also. We cannot give excuse like the people from other languages or social sciences or sciences can give that their first language is not English. So it is okay if there are some mistakes, or they are taking help of any AI tool to refine the language or remove the grammatical errors. We cannot give that excuse, though we are using, but still you have to see that when this generative AI tools were not existing, it was we who were improving the language of all these people. It was our job once upon a time to improve their research papers. There are mistakes of English grammar or anything, then they would consult English teachers that read our paper and remove English language errors. And it was allowed by journal publisher also, and they can acknowledge also that with the help of so-and-so English teacher, they have improved the language also. It was allowed. Now they don't require us because now they have generative AI. So they will not come and ask us. Now, in that way, our work is taken away by generative AI also. Our means as an English people, our work has been taken by that also. But we need to improve. Though we are using, be careful and see that whatever you are writing, it is up to your level of writing. If someday somebody is doubting your dissertation and says that, well, we don't think this is written by this student, and there is an inquiry committee and it says that call the person and we will talk with the person, and then they will say that, okay, write one paragraph. And if they will match that paragraph with what you have written in dissertation, and if it is hugely different in the level of English language, it's not about content. You can say that I can't remember now what I have written 2-3 years ago or 5 years ago, but level of language, people would say after 5 years your language should have improved now. But if that is not improved, then there is a problem. So you need to do this also, that try to see that generative AI gives you responses up to your level only, not very high level. So that that crafting, that refinedness also you will have to do, that what languages you are using, and is it up to your level, or there are very high sounding words which even you don't know that what does this mean, and you have not cared to look into dictionary also to see the meanings of those words which are used in the writing also. Okay, so that we have to see. Now we don't have any policy by UGC or other things, so we go to this Elsevier's policy document regarding using of generative AI, and it is again coming up. It is still not the final policy document. In only last 2 years, we have seen lots of change in the policy documents by the publishers and the agencies and academic institutes also. And earlier, people were telling that generative AI should be used as co-author. And people were using that as a co-author also initially. But then there were several issues, legal matters were there. And then people realized that you can't penalize AI if something goes wrong due to some research writing. Then how will you punish generative AI? So it's not a human being. So it should not be used as a co-author. So very clearly it mentions authors should not list AI in AI-assisted technology as an author or co-author, nor cite AI as author. AI should not be cited as author also. So we know how we cite author: last name, first name. That way we give identity to the system of writing. You can't cite that. That way, if it is done anywhere, you have to remove that part. So what needs to be done? What way you need to improve that part? This paragraph here. Authors should disclose, author means you, should disclose in their manuscript the use of AI and AI-assisted technologies, and a statement will appear in the published work. So either in the acknowledgement or bibliography, after bibliography, endnote or a footnote, a separate remark should be made that in what capacity and how you have used generative AI tools. And what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do. This also it tries to tell. This refers to writing process and not to the use of AI tools to analyze and draw insights from data as a part of research process. Interpretation should be yours. But if you want a better shape of writing, then you can use in writing process. But you can't take ideas from AI. When you are doing research work, at that time, ideas should not be taken. Your data analysis, if you are doing, most of you are working for literature, so interpretations you might be doing. So that interpretation should be yours. It should not be AI's interpretation. You should do it, and then only in the writing process you have to use that. So you have to clearly mention that for what purpose AI is used, and then you will mention a paragraph, one reference in acknowledgement, and one around bibliography, at the end of the bibliography, a footnote kind of thing, a separate note you will make to write this. This one, where authors use generative AI, this is second paragraph, and AI-assisted technologies in the writing process. These technologies should only be used to improve readability and language of the work. Should only be used to improve readability. Now, these are always the concern, because journal publishers want papers in English language, and everybody is not good in English language. Worldwide, there are scientists who are working, but they are not good in English language. They might be good in their first language, but because of publishing at a global level, you have to publish in English language, and so there are many faults or mistakes in that. When people are doing machine translations, the readability was a problem. Machine translation was not able to even provide a good readability. Generative AI is able to do that, so it is allowed for this purpose. That's why I say that being an English graduate and a postgraduate, this liberty perhaps may not be given to us. It may also not be given to us, that you are supposed to be good in English language. You are supposed to write correct language. So being an English scholar, if we try to take a liberty, it may happen that we may not be given that liberty. This is for the people who are coming from other languages and using them. So you have to be very careful when you use this, that you are walking on a very tight rope when you use generative AI for language and other things also. And things may go wrong in any way also. So anywhere you need to humanize your responses, give your own style of writing, do it before you submit. You still have 1 full month to submit your dissertation to university, and that is good enough time to read 70-80 pages, and wherever you need to give your own words, your own style, that all should be done. Read a couple of times and try to improve that part also. So because we don't have any other policy by our institute or UGC for this, we go by this. This is still shaping itself, but whatever it is, we have to understand that, and we have to be careful about the usage also. There are other interesting questions also, but that are not important now for our this dissertation purpose. Many other questions are not important, so we are not talking about those things at this moment. When you go for publications, even predatory journals, and that also you have to be aware about, which obviously you will get to learn in PhD coursework, that what are the predatory journals, how it needs to be identified, that also. But right now, that is not important for you. Second part is this universities rules and regulations. What does it say? This was released in 2018, known as Promotion of Academic Integrity and Prevention of Plagiarism in Higher Educational Institutes. So a few paragraphs which are useful to us, or we should be careful about when we write that we only will try to highlight here. So first thing, it says that awareness programs and trainings should be given to everybody, research scholars, teachers, masters also. And obviously UGC thinks that it should be given earlier. That's why now even at UG level, they are planning to introduce research writing. So 4 years of UG program. In the 4th year of UG program, there will be the same kind of dissertation writing also, though it will be elective paper, because though we are here also, we are making it compulsory for all of you. Normally all do not have a capacity to write a good dissertation also. So it is always a part of an elective paper. On paper, it is elective paper, but normally here we tell that you all opt for this paper only. But looking at some of your quality of writing and the way things go for plagiarism and AI use, we also will have to rethink that it should not be mandatory for everybody. Only those who are interested in future in doing research work or PhD, let only they opt for this paper. Others can study a regular paper and appear in the exam also. So one is this point, that how that capacity building is required, right, from UG level to PG level for PhD research, so that quality of research also improves later on. That is the very idea. So that awareness from UG, PG to PhD program needs to be given at different level to all the students and teachers, everybody who is involved in this process. And this training should include Responsible conduct of research and publication ethics in orientation and refresher course organized by faculty members. Train students, faculty, researcher and staff for using plagiarism detection tools and reference management tools also. We have given some samples to you that how Google Classroom is doing that and how it gives. Officially, we have drill bit, but drill bit is not for master's dissertation. So we are not using that. It is only for PhD. It is very restricted use. It is not open. Earlier, we were having Urkund and it was open. So we used to use it even for assignment work also. For assignment also, we used to tell students that use Urkund and see that whatever assignments you have submitted, how the plagiarism can be detected by the machine. So, and how you have to be careful there. But now there are restrictions to the drill bit. So we can't give that access to everybody also. Similarity checks for exclusion from plagiarism. When you use these machines, what you have to do manually, that any works which are in inverted commas, that is quoted works, should be excluded from plagiarism. Because if you are citing from some poems, those lines will be available on so many websites and it will show as plagiarism. So the quoted work, that's why there is used to use quotation mark with indentation both the sides. Indentation means paragraph space that we give. So for the quotation marks, both the sides, one extra ½ inch or 1 inch extra indentation is given. So in between only quotations are written. In case you have not done that as a part of mechanics of writing, see that editing work also you can complete. Both sides, there is an empty space, an extra space is given. So those paragraphs can easily be identified by the plagiarism tool as quotation mark, and it can remove it from plagiarism check also. So that's how the machine is trained, that the quotation mark should be removed, but it has to be identified separately also. Reference and bibliographical list also needs to be removed because it might be common with many other sources. Generic terms also needs to be removed so that they are not coming repeatedly. Now you are not going to do that, so it is not useful to you right now because your dissertation will not go under plagiarism check. But an awareness that how the machines, when people are using, it should not be blanket that you just give and you get a certificate. It's not like that. Levels of plagiarism, allowed or not allowed, that levels according to UGC document. So level 0, similarities up to 10%. So that is allowed. So up till 10%, even in PhD thesis, it is allowed that if there is a similarity text being found there. Then about 10 to 40%, it is level 1 penalty, and we'll see what are the penalties also they are given there. Then 40 to 60 and above 60%. That way they have identified various levels of similarity text. Now, what are these penalties for different levels of plagiarism that is found? First paragraph, penalties in the cases of plagiarism shall be imposed on students pursuing studies at the level of masters, where you are, and research programs, like in PhD also. On researcher, and along with you, we also, faculty and staff of the higher educational institute, only after academic misconduct on the part of the individual has been established without a doubt, when all avenues of appeal have been exhausted, an individual in question has been provided enough opportunity to defend himself or herself in a fair and transparent manner. So if that happens, and if you try to come to defend yourself, that Elsevier is telling that you can use generative AI. So I told that somebody may argue that, but you are an English person. It is for those people whose English is not good. It is to improve readability. For you, that should not be the concern. Then your defense will be very weak defense. You won't be able to present yourself fairly well, even if there is a policy document, which is practiced by other people. Your case will be still weaker in that when you come to defend yourself also. But fair chance should be given. all people should be heard properly. What may it has happened, if it is unintentional, then it can be pardoned also to the people, and they may be told to rewrite and resubmit. That one chance can be given to the people. But different things at different level. 10% no penalty, it is allowed. 10 to 40, such students shall be asked to submit a revised script, revised dissertation or a thesis within a stipulated time period not exceeding 6 months. So another 6 months after all this complaint and committees, and once the judgment is passed that yes, there is a problem of this many percentage, then 6 months time can be given and they can move on. If it is 40 to 60%, such students shall be debarred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. It is 40 to 60%. Then after 1 year, dissertation or PhD, you can submit, but till then the student is debarred. If it is above 60%, such student registration for that program shall be cancelled. So at the end of 2 years journey, if things go wrong in any way, your entire degree may be in a problem. And remember, this might happen after 5 years also. You already got your degree, you have done lamination and put it on your in your file, or at a beautiful place somewhere where you preserve your degrees, and then university may ask that submit it back. Because we have seen such cases with our university also, that if things go wrong and if it is proven that any kind of malpractice, we have cases where there was the case of absenteeism. At master's level, one student got gold medal, and then the gold medal, not only the gold medal, but even the degree was taken back because it was proven that the student was not present. The student was present somewhere else. And those people who had done the RTA, they got a proof also of CCTV camera or the persons present at some other places also. And that was a proven case. So the student was not able to defend that if he is present there, and these are the evidence, how can he attend the classes? So he has to submit the degree also. And it happens maybe after 5 or 10 years also. You never know when it might happen. So there are rules are already there, and it will start working if things go wrong in different ways also. Penalty on repeated plagiarism. Such students shall be punished for the plagiarism of one level higher than the previous level that is committed. In case of plagiarism of highest level is committed, then the punishment for the same shall be operative. In case where the degree credit has already been obtained, this is what I was telling, that you've already got a degree also. If plagiarism is proved on a date later than the date of award of degree or credit, as the case may be, then her degree or credit shall be put in abeyance for a period recommended by IAIP, this is that committee, and approved by the head of the institutions. Abeyance means you can't use that degree for any jobs or other thing. If you got a job based on that, you will have to resign from that job also, if it is based on this degree also. So these are the rules, UGC rules, 2018 only, these are in practice. So when you rethink, when you of your dissertation, you have to keep everything in mind, that what you are doing, slightly poor quality is okay. Then making a very high quality work, wherein people may doubt that this cannot be written by master student. Anybody can easily doubt, and then if they go into investigation, they can find problematic things which may lead to all these things also. In detail, they say that what punishment can be given, where apart from students, the punishment to supervisors are given there. So the teachers will not be allowed to supervise to any new masters or MPhil or PhD student scholar for a period of 2 years if it is 40 to 60%. So if you are committing that, and if it is proven, I may not be allowed to guide the student in future. The punishment will be for 2 years. If it is for more than 60%, then the supervisor not allowed this for a period of 3 years. 3-year punishment will be there. So 2 years or 3 years, I don't have to do the research guidance, but there is no problem with my salary or other things. I'll be more relaxed by lesser work then. But for you, it will be more harmful. For you, there won't be a job at all. Even if the salary has begin, it will cut down. You will again become a jobless. There. So for teachers also, there are penalties, but they are not as high. Maybe those teachers who are in need of this, because for promotions, you have to show that you have a PhD scholar completing the work under your guidance. But at a senior level, we have crossed all those bars. We have more than half a dozen people who completed PhD also. So all those thresholds are cleared. So even if we are debarred from doing the thing, it is not much harmful to us. Though it is not a good, because our reputation also is debarred, is maligned in an academic field, that your students are doing plagiarism and you are not telling them that this is not a good practice. So you might not have oriented them about those kinds of allegations might be there on the reputation of the supervisor also, which is at a senior level much problematic than salary or money also. Because salary or money you can earn, reputation you have earned by lots of hard work. If that goes now at a senior level, it is very difficult to get it back. Now you don't have enough time to work on your reputation. On money you can work, but on reputations you cannot work also. So this way it affects both supervisor also to the student also, and these are all things which are given as a document also. So we tell you this so that you work on this. You have 1 month time, and anywhere if you think that there is some problematic things that you have done, maybe very quickly you have to work for some submission, you can revisit that, rewrite the things. You have ample time to do on all these things. Your presentations are done now. Your test also is taken, and after maybe 7th of April, after annual function, you will be completely free to work on your written exam and only dissertation only. So because you have enough time, you can still revisit. If something you have done very quickly in last 2 months, then rewrite those things also. Okay, now coming to this part where some questions you have to ask yourself, and you have to do a self-reflection on them. You can scan this to open one blog, so which you can then bookmark it to follow it for detailed things. Yes, somebody can take a few photos in this, everybody. Okay, done, everybody? You're able to open the blog? Keep it open and bookmark it also. Take a photo also, so later on if you want to revisit, you can scan this QR code to revisit that. So you will find this quick questions there, FAQs kind of a thing, which you have to ask yourself, and you have to do self-reflection whether all these things you have done or not. So chapter-wise things are given. Like in first chapter, you have to ask yourself that can you say that yes to all the questions or not? For example, is the topic and title properly introduced and explained? Now, what is topic and title in the blog, you will be able to see. In the blog, you have to scroll down a little bit to see that what is the difference between topic and title. Can anybody quickly read and tell me? After the questions, there will be paragraphs given. Yes, anybody can read it? Allowed? Yes.
In the title, we find it is the smaller version of your topic, and you can find it on the cover page. Whereas in the title is there, and the topic we find that is that covers the hypothesis, research question, and the broader field, or we can say the broader version of the title. What type of research you are making, what type of theoretical work you are concerning.
Yeah. Theoretical work, theoretical framework will be about the topic. So if somebody is asking you the question, what is the topic of your research and what is the title of your research? It is a different thing. Topic is more general, broader sense. You say that I'm working on feminism, I'm working on modernist literature, I'm working on game theory, or this way you tell. And then they say what specifically you are working, what's your title? Then you tell this is the title. So title is something that you are trying to prove something. You want to talk about that. That is the title. So this all in introduction, you have to mention that what is your topic, your area, and this all you make clarity in that work. So in case that clarity is not done anywhere in introduction, then see that it is done somewhere. That how you are introducing your work. Introduction is about introducing your work, and at that time you be careful that how you introduce topic or general area of your research and the title of your work. Is the theoretical framework mentioned properly? Is about the author written within the contextual framework of the dissertation topic? Are selected texts introduced with reference to the dissertation topic? And are research questions or hypotheses mentioned at the end of the chapter? Are in-text citations referred in parentheses and mentioned in work cited at the end of the chapter, which has to be followed in all the chapters. You might have followed that system of putting the work cited or references, the topic you can use that is more accepted nowadays, references, plural word, and the list of the citation as per MLA alphabetical order you might have mentioned there. Then when you come to chapter number 2, how many articles, thesis, books, etc. are reviewed? Are the beginning and closing paragraphs interlinked to give a smooth flow to the readers? This you were told to watch some of the videos also on literature review videos. Also, we told our PhD coursework videos during the Corona time that we have taken the session that we told you, where all these guidelines were given, which you might have followed also. But see carefully that is that all coming there in a proper order or not. Is the chapter written with introduction and conclusion of the review of related literature? Is the research gap clearly identified and mentioned in the concluding paragraph? Is the research gap matching with the research questions or hypotheses mentioned in the previous chapter? This link is very important. In the chapter number 1, you are raising research questions and hypotheses. Here you are finding the gap at the end of second chapter, gap research, and it should match with the previous chapter. What was there and here? You just have to read as if you are a third person. Some third person is reading your work and coming to this part and saying that this is research gap. Let me go back to research questions. Are they matching with each other, or there is some leak, some gap in that? If you find a gap, try to fill that gap. That let me do this tightening of screws so that there is a linking with both the chapters. In third chapter, third and fourth, which is the core analysis of your research work. I hope most of you are working on 5-chapter formula only. The format is 5 chapters for everybody common. Sometimes if people are taking more text or more to discuss, then 3, 4, 5 chapters can be there, and 6th can be concluding chapter. But normally we have seen that you all follow this pattern. 3, 4 is core analysis of your work. So with all questions, is the analysis done with the help of research questions, hypothesis, and the research gap mentioned in the previous chapter? So when you are doing analysis of the thing, you're not writing summaries of the texts, or you're not just doing rasa swad of the text. Not that, but you have to now see that what you have given in the first chapter at the end, what you have given in the second chapter at the end, keeping that in mind, you are doing the analysis of the literary text that you have taken. Are articles, books, thesis, etc. reviewed in chapter number 2, referred to bring home the argument, interpretations, or inferences in these chapters? So that's why those reviewed people will be cited in these 2 chapters. Time and again they will be cited, because what you have reviewed, now you have to use their ideas to do analysis also. In case it is missing, rework on that to bring those ideas into whatever analysis you have done. Are textual evidences in form of quotes from the text written in these chapters? So when you try to prove anything, you have to give textual evidence of that, and that is coming as a quotation, and that should come as double inverted commas and indented both the sides of the paper in between also. Are interpretations based on the evidences from reviewed literature and supported from literary texts? So when you are doing your interpretation, now it should not be something coming suddenly new out of nowhere. What was in first chapter, now you don't know. What was in second, you don't know. You are doing the writing third chapter completely disconnected from previously 2 chapters. So that should not be there. If it is there, rework on that and try to see. So whatever interpretations you are doing, it should be connected with this reviewed literature where there are ideas. There will be ideas. Theoretical framework will be there where theorist might be telling something, and that you are now supporting with your text. So you are linking 2 things together when you are doing interpretations. Are you able to add your own understanding to the analysis? Now that is very important. That is your contribution. When people say, what is your contribution? Then you can say that this question, if you have answered, then you can just open your dissertation to this part and start telling that this is my contribution. This is my addition to the analysis. So this is how I have seen now, after seeing all these people talking about various things, and this is the text where there are evidences. This is what I am telling here. Are you able to apply the relevant literary theories while analyzing the text? Whatever theories you have used for theoretical framework, are you able to apply that in this or not? That is very important. Ask yourself. If not, somehow try to bring those people in your analysis in this core chapters here. Now, if these 2 chapters have nothing to do with the first and the second, it is not a proper dissertation. Dissertation is one entity. It is divided in 5 chapters. If all the chapters are separate, if they all are 5 different characters living their own life unknown to the author, that who are these characters, I don't know them. Authors can tell that I give them life and allow them to do whatever they want to do. You can't say that I give life to 5 chapters and then they live their life in their own manner. I give freedom to them to do whatever they want to do. You can't say that. So they should be connected with each other. And finally, in the concluding chapter, have you answered the research questions, hypothesis mentioned in chapter number 1? What is your conclusion? Is answer to what you started in chapter number 1. Have you filled the research gap which is mentioned in chapter number 2? That you will be able to do that or not. But still, you should be aware that I should be doing that. Though it's fine if you are not able to do that, we can put that as a limitation. But still, we are aware that I should be filling the research gap with something new, which in my review of literature, I was not able to find at any other places. Is your conclusion based on the inferences drawn from the analysis in chapter 3 and 4? Whatever. First you do, first you connect these 2 things, theory and the text, and then you do interpretation. And from interpretation, you are inferencing something. You are coming out with some new thing from those interpretations. That is what coming here in your concluding part also. And do you think you have added anything new to the existing understanding of the topic or research area or not? If there is any 2-3 ideas also, it is very good. And that is what you have to keep on highlighting in your presentations, or whenever you talk about what was your dissertation topic, what you have done, remember that you have to talk about this, that what new way you have contributed with one or two ideas in that field there. So this is how this 5 chapters, you have to ask the questions there. At the end, when you go through everything, what way you look at the entire dissertation. Is the dissertation written cohesively with a smooth flow of ideas and arguments, right from the first line to the last line? There should be one flow. Earlier, when you have done the work, it was done separately. In a separate moment of time, you have done the thing, so there won't be link. After one draft is ready, when you read entire thing, you find that, well, here I am doing something very good, but here I am going very dull. So now how you can come at one level of your flow, what you need to do. And this can be done only after first draft is thoroughly read, if possible in a single sitting from first line to the last line. Then you yourself will find that how your flow is moving on. Is the language clear and concise, and a particular style of writing, similar style of writing? When people use AI, time and again in between, in conclusion keeps on coming. That you have to remove that. Conclusion should come in concluding paragraph only, not with each and every idea. Thus I conclude, in conclusion, this all that keeps on coming. So when you read, you have to understand that, well, why here I am writing conclusion? Still chapter is there in another 10 pages. It should always be in the last part, not somewhere in between also. So that is how you correct your language when you look at the entire thing. Are there any grammatical or spelling errors? Obviously now there won't be any because you might have used the tools to rectify the thing. But earlier this also was a big concern to see that how it happens. Are all sources cited properly in text and in the work cited sections also? And one more thing you need to add is the bibliography also. So as we have told you, and you might have followed, that any references that you are giving at the end of the chapter should be mentioned in the chapter also. There should not be any additional citation in references at the end of chapters which are not cited in the chapters. In text citation and at the end of the thing should be matching with each other. This you have to carefully look. If there is one or two errors also, it will say that it is the student is very careless about writing or not following the proper rules. Bibliography should have many other things also. Apart from this list, bibliography might have several things which you have not cited directly. For example, I will give this FAQs, for example. You will say that FAQs are helpful to you in writing. You want to cite that. So that will be cited in bibliography, not in any references, because that you will not be using directly anywhere in the dissertation. But it helped you in writing the thing, or the videos on literature review, which you are not citing anywhere, but it helped you in doing how the literature review is done. So that should be cited in bibliography. So I think you are getting a clear point that what is bibliography? It means anything that you helped help you in writing the thing or thinking or getting an idea. But you are not using that anything directly. None of the lines are used, or any paragraph or anything is not directly used in the thing, but it helped you in giving direction to your thought or methodology or some way. Then it should be cited in bibliography. So bibliography will have something more than all this work cited. All work cited will be there, and some additional such resources should be there. Two things we have told you, like this FAQ, we will share another link of ResearchGate also, which you can cite, where there are more detailed questions will be given about this. And this videos or literature review or similar kind of thing, whatever you have taken help of, you have to put it. And as we have identified several errors in presentation, that though you are using some of the people's resources, you are not citing them. Don't do that. Keep that in mind. Anything that was helpful to you, let it be in bibliography. Let that list be very long. No need to worry about it. Anywhere you got some ideas, put it into those things. Have you followed guidelines provided by the university department for formatting, structure, and other things? So that guidelines will, when we look at your printed copy, we will also tell you today also, and on 25th, 26th also, we will let you know about that. Have you proofread your work thoroughly? Is the word count within the specified limit? Word counts or page numbers. As I think you might have gone through the document on our material website also, where a kind of a random number is given that you have to be near that figure. So all 5 chapters should be evenly divided. If you are writing in like 15 pages or 20 pages, then try to see that all chapters are evenly there. There might be 2, 3, 4 pages more or less. It might be 4 or 5. But sometimes when people reach to conclusion, hardly 3 pages are written. And in introduction, when the enthusiasm was very high, 30, 40 pages were written. Initially, 40 pages, and in conclusion, only 4 pages. So that should not be there. That way, you have to see that you have to write something more in conclusion so that it is evenly distributed. Ethical guidelines for research and writing also you have followed or not. So this you can scan and then bookmark. This will be lead you to ResearchGate write-up, where the question that we have discussed briefly in more detail, you will get those questions, which you can cite in bibliography also. The blog can be avoided, but ResearchGate can be cited when you when you make your choices about what to cite, what not to. As we told you that going for a qualitative places for citation is much better than to the other works. Got it? This you have done? Okay. So with this, we try to see that how your work will be done. Today, we will have a look at your work also. And this, but in case we may not be able to guide you on each and every page that you have done, but you have to ask yourself, based on whatever we have discussed, that where you are, what you have done, and you have to do self-correction. That is very important, because you know what you have done better than what we can see. We can see only the outside, but what is in your mind, that only you can see, and where you need to make improvements, you are the best judge for that. We have to guide you. We have to supervise your process. We can't tell all ideas and everything to you. We can't write for you at every level of the thing, but we can only just give a kind of a general guidance and a supervision that you should be walking in a right direction. That we have to, then you have to do it on your own self about all other work also. Okay, so with this we end our this session here, and we will go on looking at your printed copies also.